I want to touch on something that people have a misconception about protective orders or peace orders, do not contact orders, and what they represent or exemplify in the minds of many people. Um, they're not criminal. You know, if you're served with a protective order or restraining order or whatever, they're not they're not criminal unless you violate. You violate the order, and the person who petitioned the court for the order, if they go and to the commissioner or to the attorney or to whomever, they make a report, a complaint like, hey, this person keeps calling me, keeps making threats, keeps doing this, keeps doing that, then yes, it can become criminal. And of course, yes, the person can end up in jail or, criminal record, domestic. But many times, these orders are used to set boundaries. When you come from abuse, it's more than just being physically abused. It is the psychological, emotional, sexual, and mind games that come with all of that. That it all comes together, and it escalates as the relationship becomes more toxic. So, many times these orders are meant to give the message or to send the message that I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. This is not acceptable to me. I'm not somebody to be toyed with. I'm not somebody to be used. I'm not somebody to be disrespected. I'm not somebody to be threatened. I'm not somebody that you can just do whatever you want to and laugh about and find humor in. People laugh at other people all the time. You don't go out and file restraining orders or peace orders or do not contact orders. It is in toxic, when relationships go toxic, and it escalates to imminent danger and violence. And violence is on many levels than just physical. There's yelling, there's screaming, there's slapping, there's pinching, there's punching, there's hitting, there's pushing, there's shoving, there's kicking, there's all these things. And there's all these underlying things like lying and gaslighting and manipulation and deceptive behaviors that absolutely merit doing and having to be faced with the decision to do that. And it's not a fun thing to do. It's not a fun thing to do, for me, that when I've had to do that, it was about setting boundaries. Like, I'm not tolerating this anymore. You either come to me truthfully and forthright with the respect that you have that you would give to anybody else, or you don't come forth to me at all. You don't step up to me with a bunch of bullshit. And that's a given for anybody. Who wants to be stepped up to with a bag of bullshit in somebody else's hand, and they're trying to hand it off to you, insulting your intelligence, playing you for a fool, and abuse stems from many things, whether somebody's drinking, drugging, gambling, eating pills. It could be a number of things. Unresolved issues from their past, psychiatric issues. It could be a number of things. But for me personally, it has always been just to say, how this relationship was that led up to this will not be like that again. Either I'm going to have your respect and honesty, or I'm not. And if I'm not, that's fine. It doesn't mean that I am bound to stick around to put up with it because the other person thinks that they are just so clever and have it going on that they could just hold somebody hostage in something like that. No. You know, I'm a person that would rather live in harmony, be amicable and respectful, but I want the same in return. I don't want to be the one doing all the giving, and the other person doing all the taking and all the taking. And my cup runneth empty, and there I sit feeling like a fool. And I have been there, and so have many other people. Many people who may view this will probably shake their head in agreement, saying, "Yeah, I've been there," you know. And to those that go out claiming to have been abused, but never really were, and I can think of a few people, male and female, claiming to have been abused to get into a relationship with somebody or to get into somebody else's business, this and that, only to find out that they never been abused at all, you know, because they're in touch with the person they claimed abused them, and, you know, just crawling up that person's ass and all this. I mean, it's just a bunch of bullshit, you know. And I know, you know, with domestic violence, there is a weird dynamic where you go cycle round and round, but eventually there comes a point where things come to an end. They have to. And a lot of times the end is 6 feet in the ground for somebody, you know. And that's not something I want for myself. It's not something I want for anybody else. And so, it's just, you know, to shed some light. It's very often about just finding a place of agreement, of amicability, that is both acceptable and fair to both sides. It's not always about, you know, exposing somebody and being mean and being ugly. People get mean and ugly when they are offended, or, you know, they've been abused and they've had enough, you know, and they just start retaliating, or, you know, nobody likes to be played with. There are many ways to bring out the ugliness in another person. Just go and disrespect somebody and see, you know, and go tell a lie or call somebody and ask them to call you back and block their number. And, you know, I mean, it's all games, those kind of games, you know. No. I hope that, you know, that this helps, you know. There are many people out there who ponder whether or not to file orders and such, you know. It's better to, you know, when in doubt, I would say do it. And you can always rescind, you can always curtail the order. Doesn't have to be a year, doesn't have to be lifelong. It can be a 3-month short order, you know, for somebody to prove themselves, you know, that, hey, I'm willing to respect this person's wishes. Or the other person's going to say the heck with it, and I'm done with this person. I don't want to have to deal with this. But the truth is, when somebody gets an order served on them, it's usually because they did something that their hand called for. Because people don't want to have to be bothered and waste their time to go to a damn courthouse and file a damn order and go into court and have appearances. Who wants to do that stuff? Nobody. So usually when that happens, there's just cause for it in the first place, you know, and that's just how I think. Or that's what I know based on my own experience and from the things I've seen. So, you know, just know that, you know, it's not always black and white, and that, you know, things can be hammered out and mediated, and, you know, have this place of comfort, find this place of comfort back between the two people caught in discord, you know. So, food for thought, and good luck.